Hey, family, welcome to another episode of Soulful Conversation with Frank and
Sheila Battle.
fam. This one's going to be a quick one.
Yes.
I received a question, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit because I don't have it in front of me.
It's okay.
The question was about is the scenario is an individual that's in a relationship, married, and the question of the partner meeting their needs. And the partner thinking that they are meeting the needs, but they aren't. Based on the writers of the question, based on by their definition, I have needs that I would like to be met, but they're not being met
By my partner.
by my partner.
Okay.
So that's what we are putting out today
Okay.
in this episode.
So real quick. All right. So the first thing that we want to recommend is active listening.
Yeah.
So we talk about this a lot in the communication episodes.
lot.
But active listening means I'm going to put my phone down. I'm going to turn towards you. I am going to actively listen to what you have to say.
Do you understand the words that are coming out my mouth?
So in active listening, we repeat back,
Yes.
right?
We make eye contact.
We make eye contact. We repeat back, and we exhibit changed behavior that shows that we honor and respect what we heard.
That part.
Okay, so number one, young lady, whoever you are, the way that you can start this process of changed behavior with your partner, and not just so that your needs are met, but so that you meet the needs of your partner, is to engage in active listening.
It's a two-way street.
And active listening comes as a response to a question. So maybe a question that you could ask your partner is what their needs are. So that's one thing, one way. But the other way is to say, hey, you know what? I really like it when you blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or I would really appreciate it if you did blah, blah, blah. Right? So give your partner some instruction, because a lot of times, especially with women, I think what we assume is that our partner just knows.
Yeah.
We just want them to know. And we're dropping hints and
That's a
we're doing
big
all of
part
this
of it.
stuff, and we want them to just know instead of just emphatically saying, hey, this is what I need.
The mind
This is
reading.
what I need in this relationship with you.
The
right?
mind reading, right?
So the first thing, mind readers. Nobody is one. And folks who claim to be mind readers usually aren't that good at it, or they're not consistent at it. So it works out so much better if you just say, hey, you know what? I really appreciate it when you blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or, it really makes me feel connected to you when you blah, blah, blah. Right? Okay. So the first thing is practice active listening, but there's also this active conversation that needs to happen. You need to be able to say what you need, and you need to be able to say it in a way that isn't demanding, but is informative. You don't want to demand things from your partner, but you want to inform them. These are the things that make me happy. These are the things that make me feel connected. These are the things that spark intimacy between you and I. Okay.
And in that conversation, when you talk about, you were just saying a few minutes ago, those things you appreciate.
Yeah. Say what you're
You know,
grateful for.
hey, I appreciate when you XYZ, or I appreciate. So then you kind of know, okay, that's a thing.
It is sexy when Mr. Frank washed the dishes after I cook. Ain't nothing like coming in there and seeing my husband cleaning up the kitchen after I done messed it up.
A part of it is the way I was raised.
But whatever it is, like, that's
Yeah, I
a
get
thing.
it. I
Like, that's
get
the
it.
whole thing,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get into a bunch of
No,
stuff
we're
about
not.
me and him. Okay. Because we could go there. And our kids are watching and they don't really want to hear what
So
is sexy between
the
me
second
and him,
one, the second thing is being vulnerable.
which is Frank's favorite word.
Yeah, but I kind of get a sense that men don't like that word, vulnerability. I do. But I think it's important that, and I said this, we were at an event and I mentioned it, and a conversation happened with me and a gentleman. That person that you said, this is my love, this is my boo, You the one. So my point was, why not be vulnerable? Now it takes time to get to that place. And I was recently watching a another podcast, and I love this. I can't remember, and I do apologize. I can't remember the person's name, but the gentleman said that be the lion and the lamb.
Ooh, yeah, I saw that. Ooh,
You remember that?
Yes,
He was
I
like,
do.
be the lion. I mean, you can roar, but when you get home, you can be the lamb. And this gentleman who, he's a beast. He works out. He's a big dude, all in his voice.
And he's a beast in the social media world, too.
Yeah. And so his point was being the lion and the lamb, where I can go out and conquer and just do business and be a boss, come home, lay on the floor with the kittens and the cat, pull the wife
And
in.
the kids.
And the kids in and just have a time. And then when it's close to bedtime to say, hey, babe, I know a lot of times men, we deal with a lot of things going on, and we have depression and things that we deal with. I'm in a little of a tough place right now, and so I'm coping with some things, but I just want to let you know I'm okay, but I just want to let you know. And he said, she knows to give me space, but keep an eye on me during that time. So that's when I talk about vulnerability, that's what I'm talking about. When you get into that toxic masculinity stuff, you have that. You keep that. But I'm talking about this place of being in a committed relationship with that person that you love, you have an affinity for, and you can share to that degree with that individual.
I'm going to move on, but I love that so much. I love that so much because not that it gives men an out, but it gives men an opportunity to think about vulnerability in a different way.
Oh, yeah.
So I think, we talk about simps, right?
Y'all leave Russell alone.
And everybody else that y'all talking about in that way. But here's the thing, family. I'm just going to believe, because I talk to enough men to believe that men want a place to lay it down. They want a place to be able to say, I'm scared.
Come on, bros.
Or I don't know.
Bros, come on.
Or I can't figure this out yet. They want to be able to do that, but they want it without the consequence of retribution. They don't want to be able to share or say that to somebody who they think is going to hold it against them later. And family, I'm telling you, sis, niece, all of y'all that's female and in a relationship with a man, can I please admonish you? Can I please encourage you to create a space on your lap for Samson to lay his head?
I knew you was going.
Can you please, ladies, practice the art of making your lap the safest place for Samson to lay his head? And I'm not talking about be Delilah. I'm saying learn from Delilah.
Lessons from Delilah.
And lessons from, I could do it. Woo! Lessons from Delilah. We got to break that down. Lessons from Delilah. Make your lap make your arms a safe place. Make your heart a safe place for Samson to lay his head. Why? Because I promise you, between the men who are being killed unnecessarily, we was at a funeral today. Between men who are being murdered, maimed, and injured, and the ones who are taking their own life, I believe that the resolution, that the answer to that is your lap, is your arms, is the safety of you as a woman, as a whole woman, to say, I will not hold your words against you. I will not throw them back in your face. You can lay your vulnerability down in my lap with your physical body, and I will hold that space for you. Not that I will give you answers, not that I will tell you what to do. I will just make the space safe enough for you to have your say. We did a show back in the day called Hush Ladies, the Men Are Talking, and I want Uncle Frank to do that again with some brothers, because I think it is important for us as women to sit down, be quiet, and just listen. And I don't mean that, come on, ladies, don't come for me. There is an opportunity in this day and time for us to create space for men to have their say, whatever that is. And so for a man to be able to come to you and say, you know what, I'm just tired, or I don't know. I wish I knew the answer to how to fix this thing in our home, fix this thing with our children, fix this thing with our family, but I don't know.
Right.
Who else could they say that to?
Right.
You don't want him to find the lap of another woman, because there's another woman. There are 22 women for every man where we live. You don't want him to go to her. So what are you doing to create that space of safety so that a man can have his say? And are you willing to practice active listening so that he can have his say?
And give him that space.
And give him that space.
And for the brother who has been attacked because he was vulnerable, bruh, she ain't the one for you. Release her, let her go.
Let her go.
Let her go. Because we need that space. We got enough
You gotta
we
have
dealing with in this world. Like my wife just said, we were just at a funeral today. And the plot and the stuff that the black male is dealing with, come on. Having a space to be able to come to lean on, and to lay down safely and be the lamb, even though you were lying. That is what we're talking about.
Last thing I'm going to say, and then we're going to move on to the next point. Ladies, if you make that space, you'll know what to pray.
You know what to
For the
pray.
women of faith, whatever faith confession you have, if you create a space for a man, whether it's your brother, your uncle, your daddy, your man, your son, if you create a space that's safe enough for a man to have his say, you know what to do. Not only can you pray, but you can pray effectively. You can pray the prayer that needs to be prayed to move the heart of God on his behalf. If you just praying for what you want, you are not praying based on what you heard. You need to create the space so that the man can have his say, so that you can pray for what concerns him, not what concerns you. And if you do that, then God will move on behalf of that man. I'm going to let that go.
This is reciprocal. Let me just say that.
Oh, my goodness.
Because men, we can do the same
Yes.
for our partners.
Yes.
We can do the same. And I'm going to leave it at that.
That was number one, practice active listening. This was supposed to be
This
a
was
quick
number
video.
2. This is number 2. That was be vulnerable.
Be vulnerable. I'm sorry.
Being
You're
vulnerable.
right. That was be vulnerable.
So number 3, we're going to move on.
Okay,
so
we're going to move
can
on.
Stay there.
Okay. Young lady who wanted to know how to get your needs met in a relationship. Be specific, honey.
Specific.
Be specific. First of all, you have to do
what you want. Tell me what you need. Come on now. Drew Hill. Preach, Drew Hill.
That's so scary that he did that. Okay. Drew Hill, thank y'all for that song back in the 90s. It was in the 90s or the 2000s. Anyway, when Frank busts a song out,
It was in my spirit.
it was he having too much fun. Okay, wait a minute.
I feel like singing.
Number one.
I was like,
is
Suge ain't Rick.
Okay,
I'm
family.
sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Number one, we just gonna let this run because
sorry.
this how we act.
This is how we act.
Okay, number one was practice active listening. Number two was be vulnerable. Number three
specific.
was be specific. Family, male, female, partner, married, committed relationship, whatever status you have. Single people, practice the art of being specific.
Yeah.
If you can learn how to be specific with the people in your life that you can see, then it will teach you how to be specific in your prayers to God who you can't see. Okay, so be specific. Baby girl, if there is a need that you have and you believe in your heart of hearts that your partner can fulfill that need, then be specific and ask for what you need.
So,
ask
babe,
for it.
What if she's been specific and it still appears not to have been done?
So then the first thing is to discern whether your specific need isn't getting met intentionally or maliciously.
Oh yeah.
So if you are specific and you've been asking and asking and asking, and you think that your partner is maliciously not meeting your need, then maybe that is not your person.
Or it could be an unrealistic expectation. It just could be.
So pray about that.
Pray about it.
And if you're and so here's the thing. So I'm gonna fix my face. It could be an unrealistic expectation for that person.
Yeah.
But not an unrealistic expectation for what you need. I think that's a difference. Maybe Reverend Dr. Lisa Johnson can help us with that. But I think that's different. It's a difference between me having an unrealistic expectation of you and you not being capable or having capacity to meet it.
Yes.
Or me just having an unrealistic expectation because I've been watching soap operas all my life. There's a difference. There's a difference between what a man can do and these lofty things that you've thought of because you've been watching stuff on TV and think that should be you. That's two different things. So there's some discernment that needs to be in play. There's some discernment because sometimes, ladies, we can ask for things we're not ready for.
Yeah.
We can want a thing from a man in a season that's not right.
And
you could ask for the thing, but if it's not your season to receive it, you could be asking for it prematurely. So there's a whole lot wrapped around that. But I think that this is why we keep coming back to faith. We keep coming back to bathe these relationships in prayer. Bathe what you're asking for in prayer. Bathe your own growth and development and the longevity and the work of your inner work. Bathe all of that in prayer. Bathe it in prayer to the degree that you know, okay, wait a minute, God, I'm sorry. I've been asking for this thing prematurely.
Yeah.
And if you blessed me with this thing, I really ain't ready for it. Some of y'all asking for a husband and you're not ready. Some of y'all asking for a husband and you're not a wife. You know, the Bible says he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. It doesn't say he who findeth a boo, he who findeth a girlfriend, he who findeth a warm body, he who findeth thick thighs. That's not what it says.
Exactly.
It says he who findeth a wife. So are you a wife? That's a whole nother thing. I'm not going to get into that. But this was supposed to be a quick video. Okay. Practice active listening. Be vulnerable. Be specific. And number 4 is ask for feedback. So, honey, if you are in a relationship with someone and you don't feel like your needs are getting met, you could also ask, are you meeting the needs of your partner? Ask for feedback. Ask how this is going for them. Because if there's a reason if there's something that's causing a blockage, if there's something that's causing and preventing your needs from getting met, it could be because you're not a need meter. And if you have that soulful conversation with each other, then you can at least say, hey, you know what? I feel like this area for us is a challenge. What's an area of challenge for you? How do you see this from your perspective? Is there something that I could be doing to support you? Is there something I could be doing to meet a need in your life in this relationship? And that creates the opportunity for dialogue around what you need.
Yeah. And in that dialogue comes compromise, because you mentioned a few minutes ago, if it's beyond his or her capacity, then you can find the common ground in terms of that need being met. In that feedback conversation, which is our last point.
Okay, so this real quick, this is a quickie. Soulful questions. The soulful question was around, I'm in a relationship. It was from a young lady. I'm in a relationship. I care very deeply for this person, but my needs are not getting met in this relationship. What can I do to start a soulful conversation that would help me get my needs met in this relationship? And we talked about 1, practice active listening, both of you. Number 2, be vulnerable. Number 3, be specific, not pacific, because that's wrong. Be specific. Yeah, that's bad English.
That's an ocean.
Be specific. Pacific is an ocean. Be specific. And number 4, ask for feedback.
And so, family, if you have a question that you'd like for us to pose in our soulful questions, you can DM us message us on Facebook, DM us on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you watch, and YouTube. Or you can email
Leave it
us
below.
at
in your comments.
soulfulconvos@gmail.com. I am Frank.
And I am Sheila Battle.
And we thank you all for watching and listening to another episode of Soulful Conversation with Frank and Sheila, our Soulful Questions
segment. Yes. Take care, family, and be well.
Stay soulful.
Bye, family.
Bye.